Hi everybody, I'm Candace and today I'm going to share with you just a few of my favorite Halloween books for toddlers. Around this time of year I will often peruse the seasonal or Halloween section of Walmart, or if I'm at the grocery store, just kind of look down those seasonal aisles and see if they have any toddler friendly books. I feel like that's something that they have started to do, especially at Walmart in the last few years, is create a little section of books that are seasonal. Usually they have them for every holiday: Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and sometimes I'll even see some like summer themed ones. So that can be something kind of fun if you have a friend or extended family member who's looking to purchase something for your toddler for a fun little Halloween gift. Sometimes it's fun to have options other than a treat that you can give to them around the holidays. So we'll go ahead and start out with this Halloween ABC book. It's by Janie Ho. I really like it because it's a big, thick board book, and it's hard for toddlers to destroy. So it's pretty durable. I've had it for a while and it's still in pretty good shape. I like that there is one picture of one thing on each page, which I think can be really helpful when we're trying to work on building a toddler's vocabulary. It has a lot of simple one-word phrases within this book that we can model with kids. Things like an apple, or a bat, a door. We could talk about the bubbles in the cauldron, eyes and eyeballs. We could talk about how Frankenstein has a green face, or he has shoes, or he's got a shirt. Or we could identify and point to his body parts. Lots of things you could do and point out on that Frankenstein page. Some kids are really into that seasonal vocabulary, and they'll want to talk about and find all the ghosts or the pumpkins in a book. We could just call this a house. There's another ghost. We could talk about how she's scared or she's jumping. Or we could talk about how she has a pumpkin on her shirt. There's a black kitty. We could talk about how the kitty meows and makes a cute little sound. Or talk about how it's a black cat, if you're working on putting those two word phrases together. We could make a fun sound on the lightning page. Zzz, if we're trying to engage maybe those kids who don't want to stay with books for very long. There's a mummy. There's an owl. Hoo hoo! We could make a fun animal noise. Of course we could label and talk about the pumpkin. I don't know that I would necessarily model a word like quiver with a toddler, but we could talk about how he's scared, or we could say, oh no, or something a little simpler like that. We could talk about how he's running. There's a skeleton, a trick-or-treat bag. We could point out the candy and pretend to eat it. Yum yum. Finally, maybe if you're potty training, you could talk about how he's wearing underwear or panties. He's got teeth, a little vampire. There's a witch with a hat, a monster with candy. We could pretend to eat the candy with the monster. Yum, 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 yum. Anyway, just a cute little book. There's a few ideas of some language you could model. Another one of my favorite books series that I just love are these little blue truck books. They're lift the flap books, so they're kind of fun and more interactive for kiddos. They're written by Alice Schertle. This one's illustrated by Jill McElmurray. I just feel like there's a lot of kiddos this age that love cars and trucks. So these can be some really fun books. You can model language, like talk about the landscape, the trees, the sky, talk about the animals in the picture, talk about that big blue truck. We could model fun sounds that the truck make, like beep beep or vroom vroom. And then on each of these pages there's a fun flap that we can lift up, that the kids often like to help lift up. So anyway, just a cute another option for you. Under each of these little flaps, the animal's doing something. Another one of my favorites is this baby flap book series, and this book is written by Karen Katz. I like it because there's a fun flap on each page. It kind of helps engage the toddler and get them to focus on what's underneath the flap. We can work on words like open or close. We could teach them to point to things. They could point before we give them that feedback and open up the flap for them. Or they could do a sign for open if you're working on signs or gestures. If you're working on a gesture like knocking, you could have the child knock on each of the flaps before you open it. Lots of seasonal pictures that you can label. Easy fun word phrases like bat or cat. If you're working on colors, you could find all the black cats. Or if you're working on the word for baby, you could find the baby on each page and say baby. Lots of fun flaps. Anyway, just a cute little book that's simple. There's not a whole lot going on each of the pages, so kind of just a fun little book where the kids can interact and practice waiting before those flaps are lifted on each page. Another one of my favorite little series for toddlers are these biscuit books. They're fun because they often have the biscuit puppy dog on each of the pages. So even if your toddler's not ready to imitate a whole lot more than animal sounds, you could find the dog on each page and make a fun dog sound like ruff ruff or bark bark. Whatever you like to do when you see a dog or a puppy. Another thing I like about these books are their touch and feel. So on each page there's a fun fluffy or fuzzy, or there's a rough texture on each page that your child can explore and engage with. Looks like these pages are stuck together. There's a nice shiny ghost, a rough scarecrow that they can feel, a shiny glittery sparkly crown that you can catch in the light, and finally kind of a prickly spider that they can explore. Alright, another one of my favorite little Halloween books is this Blippi book. I think I picked this one up at Walmart. A lot of toddlers really enjoy the Blippi show. I think they like him because he is fun and engaging, and so he does a lot of repetition, which can be really good for kids this age. So if they are a fan of Blippi, this could be a fun little way to get them to attend to a book. You could find Blippi on each page, or you could talk about the pumpkins. Find the pumpkins on each page. Or you could find the dog. Where's the dog on each page? Or the black cat. You could find the black cat. You could talk about, what is Blippi doing? Is he dancing? What's the dog doing? What is the dog wearing? Does he have shoes on? You could talk about the candy or the treats that Blippi is making. Talk about the bananas or the dog food. Talk talk about the kids and their costumes. That's a fun one. All right, and then I think the last little Halloween book that I love, this is just a real simple little song book called 5 Little Pumpkins. I think I picked that one up at Walmart as well. I really love how simple this book is, how there's big pumpkins that you could count. There's fun little faces that you could imitate. You could say, oh, or smile, or stick your tongue out, or say, oh no. You could talk about the moon or the ghost or the house, or you could sing the song. That could be a fun little way to interact with this book. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, oh, you could do a fun gesture. Oh my, it's getting late. The second one said, there are witches in the air. You could do a fun little action, and you could get a picture of a witch or a broom and fly them in the air, or just pretend with your hand. The third one said, but we don't care. You could do a fun little gesture with your finger. The fourth one said, let's run and run and run. You could run in place with your kid to practice imitation of that big motor movement. Ooh, went the wind, and out went the light. You could even get a flashlight out and turn out the flashlight, or turn off the light switch. And the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. You could say bye to the pumpkins at the end of the book. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye, pumpkins. Anyway, I think that just looking for a few seasonal books at your local library could be really fun. Even if you don't want to go out and buy anything, talk to family members or friends. You could look at a thrift store nearby. If you live here in Utah County, Savers and Desert Industries are some really great places that I can often find toddler board books. What's really nice about getting board books at a thrift store is you can pick them up for usually less than $1, and then if your child destroys them, it's not a big deal and you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, hope that gives you a few ideas of some fun seasonal books, and hope you all have a happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you another time. Bye.